think I'm going to title this one Diary of a Short-Term Rental Owner, because these are the things that I wish that I knew ahead of time before getting started investing in short-term rentals. So first and foremost, just like any real estate investment, or for the most part, all real estate investments, I know there's some types of real estate investing that is more passive, but just like long-term rental investing, it takes work. Short-term rental investing takes a lot of work, actually. So I shouldn't say just like it, because it takes significantly more work when you're operating and running a short-term rental, because there's so many more things involved with the aspect of this certain business, right? So with short-term rental investing compared to long-term real estate investing, you have to do so much more. Long-term, it's buy the property. If it needs work, fix it up. Put a long-term tenant in there for 12 months. They'll contact you, throughout the year, maybe a handful of times if you have a good tenant. If you have a tenant that's a little bit more needy, maybe a couple handfuls, right? But with short-term rental investing, it's every single week. You have to be doing something every single week in order to get that property to perform where you want it to perform. So that means that you're constantly marketing, you're constantly adjusting the listing, you're constantly trying your best to be the best guest or host experiencer, whatever that looks like. So in short-term rental investing, you're doing so much more. And it is a process. It's a long process. And that's okay, because in my opinion, the benefits outweigh the negatives with short-term rental investing. And I'll say that again, the benefits outweigh the negatives in my personal experience. So just knowing that, I wish I would have known going in how much work it's actually going to be. I don't think it would have scared me away. I had an idea because I was already a real estate investor, and I've already, I've been in real estate about 6 years at that time. So, I knew what went into being a realtor. So marketing, negotiating, or client experience, all that stuff. So I had an idea, but, once I shifted and bought our first short-term rental, it was a big change. So I wish I would have known that going in. And again, it's not like it would have scared me away, but now that I do know that, and now I understand it takes a lot of work, but the benefits outweigh the negatives. Something else that I wish I would have known is more, or better, I will say. I wish I would have known how to be a better host. So what I mean by that is, when you're hosting a property, the customer satisfaction is paramount. It's everything. So customer satisfaction is huge, because if you don't have happy guests staying at your property, you're not going to get repeat business, and it's going to affect any new business. What I mean by that is, especially if you're beholden to Airbnb, and let's face it, I would say that virtually everyone that is a short-term rental owner, with exception, of course, but people like me, those smaller investors, are beholden to Airbnb at the moment. I don't know what our breakdown is between Airbnb, VRBO, and then just our personal friends and family and off-market bookings, but Airbnb has to be at least 65%. Which is huge. So that means that we're beholden to them, to their rules, to their regulations, to the stupid superhost status, which we lost, and it's been extremely frustrating to get it back. That's a whole different story. But anyway, we're beholden to Airbnb, and we're beholden to reviews. Reviews are everything. Because if we constantly get bad reviews, people aren't going to book our property. Plain and simple. The more bad reviews we get, the more people see that, and they're going to say, "What the heck's going on with this guy? Why can't they figure things out?" So we're beholden to that. But it all comes back to guest and customer experience. And I have some experience in that realm, coming from a culinary background, working in kitchens, being a chef. I have an idea of that, but hospitality is a whole different beast. It's a whole other animal. And I didn't have a lot of experience in that at all. So it's all learning as you go. But the more people are happy, the better your property will perform. So the better customer experience you give to your guests staying at your property, the better off you're going to be, the more bookings you're going to have, and the more money you're going to make. So that's extremely important. And I want to get that across to you. If you're listening to this, and if you stuck it out this far, then make sure that you prioritize guest experience. On that note, if you have made it this far, you're watching this video, I am a licensed real estate broker. I own a real estate brokerage here in Pennsylvania. So if you are looking to invest in short-term rentals, especially in the Pocono Mountains, the market that I know the best, and you want to work together, click the link below, schedule an appointment. Another thing that I wish that I knew before investing in short-term rentals is how important it is to manage your expenses. Now, look, you're going to have certain expenses that you're not going to be able to avoid, and your fixed costs, of course, right? So your mortgage and your insurance, generally the mortgage won't change unless something crazy happens or you refinance. The insurance generally won't change, but, insurance all across America right now at this time is changing. And then you have the more floating costs, but actually fixed costs. So your internet generally stays the same, electricity, propane, things like that. So I wish I would have known better in the beginning how to manage those expenses, because they can tend to be a lot. And if you're not paying attention on a consistent basis, which I have been since the beginning, but there's things I wish I would have done sooner in order to save more money. One that comes to my mind almost immediately is our electric provider. So in the Poconos specifically, PP&L pretty much has a monopoly up there. But there's different kind of providers that you can use within PP&L, and I didn't know that. So I more recently found out, I can, it's like having Pico. Pico's in Pennsylvania. So it's like having Pico and having a different provider, but everything still goes through Pico. So everything still goes through PP&L. And I just switched the provider because it saved on our electric. And it's like, you have to do that consistently. And you don't have to do it every single week. Obviously, that doesn't make sense, but you have to monitor it, whether it's every few months, every 6 months, something like that, because our electric bill shot up like crazy. And part of that is because people left the heat on, but still, managing expenses is extremely important, especially if you want to increase your bottom line. That is something that's overlooked, and it's something I really wish I knew before buying our first short-term rental. And really the last thing that I want to talk about today is how much I didn't realize I was going to love it and hate it at the same time. It's truly a love-hate relationship at this point. I love the fact that we have this vacation rental property. For myself, for my family, we get to enjoy it multiple times throughout the year, which is amazing because we never had anything like that growing up. That was never even a consideration to have a vacation home anywhere, right? So the fact that I have that, the fact that we have that, my wife and I, and we're able to provide that for our kids, for our family, when we can go up there when people aren't staying there, that's amazing to me. And I feel like that's one of the things that's not talked about enough and overlooked a lot, because let's just say you have 5 properties in different areas throughout the U.S. You can go there. You can go vacation to your properties, and you can save so much money by doing that. And that, to me, is a huge value. It's a huge benefit. And then on the hate side, it's when I do go there, I try and get there a couple times throughout the month just to check on the property to make sure that it's still standing, right? But then, you have that feeling like, oh, people have been here, you know, oh, that wasn't there before. That scratch on the floor wasn't there. That chip paint on the wall wasn't there. Oh, where's that piece to the coffee maker, the frother? I had it last time we were here. You know, where is that? So, like, that's the hate part, because people are using your property. Yes, it's an investment. Yes, it's a money maker. But at the same time, it's personal, right? And I somewhat got attached to it. I've been able to detach over the past 2.5 years, but you know, that's something that I didn't know getting into, is that love-hate relationship that I was going to have with it. So I hope this helps in any way with someone that's considering buying a short-term rental, especially if you're looking to buy in the Poconos. I just try and be as honest as I can as a host, as a real estate broker, as a real estate investor, and that's the best that I can do. So again, if you want help purchasing a property up there, click the link below. Look forward to speaking with you. Have a great day.